Yeah, okay, so if we're all talking at the one time.
Well, we could see this like a sound check, so...
Yeah,
but we could easily... Yeah, but I kind of noticed that if one of us is talking, somebody usually tends to stop.
You should do that, yeah. It's only polite.
Well, give it a try, Paul. You close to your mic?
Yeah, I feel quite close to my mic.
Do... How do you mess up a do-re-mi?
Don't know. Go again. You put me in the spot, man. Do you know what I mean?
That's your intro right there.
Yes,
Go.
it is. Hello and welcome to Not Another Film Podcast, where we delve into the movies as requested by the general public and break it down scene by scene. For the very first time, this is our pilot episode, joined by the delightfully devilish deadite, Des O'Gorman.
Hello.
The pestilent post-mortem pest himself, Paul MacDougall.
Hello.
And me, Douglas Fender.
Wow, such an introduction you've given yourself there,
Yes.
Doug. I'm glad to see you saved the best to last.
I'm not even going to cut that, I'll just leave it there.
Keep that in. That makes you more human.
Something has to.
Hey! And the jokes are coming.
And to segue into a movie about the undead, tonight's destination, 1992, with Peter Jackson's BRAINDEAD, also known around the world as Dead Alive, known for being possibly the most violent film that's ever existed. Well, let's delve right on into the early 90s and see what all the fuss is about.
There was a lot of fuss in the 90s.
Yeah,
There was.
a lot of fuss. And apparently we were all really old people back then.
So Peter Jackson's BRAINDEAD.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just gonna begin at the beginning, seems like as good a place to open.
I like to think so.
And we open rather strangely with a short clip of Queen Elizabeth. Anyone else see this?
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's very New Zealand, so, patriotic. I don't
Is
know.
it?
I wouldn't know because I've never been. But there was the flag first as well, waving ferociously in the wind, and then it was followed up by a picture of the Queen on a horse.
But it had absolutely no context to the rest of the film.
Well, maybe because it was done through the New Zealand film distribution, they have to do that, because isn't New Zealand still under British rule?
In the 50s, where it's set.
Yeah.
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 Skull Island, 1957. Okay, so Skull Island, 1957. Poachers have stolen what they describe as a monkey, and one of them doesn't want to continue stealing it.
They got part way through, they got the monkey into the cage, and he just thought, no, I draw the limit here.
A local tribe turn up, they demand that the rat monkey get set free, or they'll kill them both. But, permit.
I know, I loved the...
Show me your papers, is what I think they were saying in their own language. Does anyone know what language they were talking?
I haven't looked into it, no.
I googled just to see. I was like, what language are the tribal indigenous people speaking on Skull Island in the movie? And I got nowhere.
But can they understand a permit?
Apparently not.
No.
The zookeeper pulls out a machine gun
Yeah.
and fights them off.
Out of nowhere.
I know,
That was awesome.
He kind of buried the lead with that one. He thought he'd be diplomatic with the... I know. So he tried the paperwork first, and he just thought, oh, well, that's not working.
Yeah. Do you know that chase scene though? Know what it reminded me of? Do you remember when we used to watch music videos on VH1? And they would just come up with a wee title in the corner, and it would be that sort of like running about people in the 80s and stuff like that. That's what that whole scene reminded me of, because they're like running back and forth through it, and as well, that's what it totally reminded me of. But I think what I read as well is he used that same location to film part of Lord of the Rings, the third one. The scene where Aragorn is going to the
the caves where he goes to meet the ghost army.
and he does that quite a lot apparently.
I do like there was that one shot of like where it was like a very wide camera shot and you see the two edges of the cliffs.
Yes.
And they're very, very distant and they're running by. And then, Yeah, if you just change out the score for the Benny Hill theme,
Yes.
that is just comedy gold.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well.
Des, done.
Yes. The one thing I've marked down in the very few notes that I have is that this is early Peter Jackson's work, but you can really tell that he's got a really good eye for cinematography, and when you see that type of thing, he kind of strikes a balance between really violent, gory horror, yet he can really ham up the comedy.
Yes.
As well. I love that about Peter Jackson.
The blend between the two of it being so over the top violent and such hammy comedy works really well. And I don't think I'd personally seen it before that.
I think he kind of took what Sam Raimi does with Crime Wave and the first, because at this time it was only the first. Oh wait, no, yeah, it was just the first two Evil Dead because Evil Dead 3 was being made in 1982. So I kind of think he took that and he just really just turned the dial up to 11.
Yes.
In fact, I think, Paul, you came up with like the perfect synopsis for the movie.
Yeah, pretty much. It was like the Evil Dead on steroids. That's what it felt like to me.
Peter Jackson, if you release like a special Blu-ray version of this, you can have that for the cover. That is yours. That is our gift to you.
So of course is it the Sumatra rat monkey?
Yes.
Something along those lines.
I always thought it was Sumerian.
In the film King Kong, there's a box and it says on it, Sumatran rat monkey, beware of the bite.
The main zookeeper, he of course gets bitten when he's trying to run away with the box in the van. The van, maybe a small Jeep.
That's a loose term.
Back up 4 feet.
A small Jeep, mate.
He gets bitten, which alarms the rest of the group, and they decide to take appropriate action.
What I love about this scene is that it gets hamped up so much.
Yes.
Which is sort of like, oh, he's got a cut in his hand. Take off the hand.
Yes.
Oh, he's got a cut in his shoulder. The monkey bit him once.
Yes.
But yet every time they discover a new scratch or bite.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's the expressions on their faces and they're like, and they have to go. And I felt it was like sort of playing out like, like a Family Guy joke, like when Peter falls and he hurts his knee and he's like how they take it too far. I thought they were going to keep going with it, like limb after limb, but that bit was hilarious.
Yeah. Until he's just a head on the ground, and then they have to split it in two because he's got a little scar across his forehead.
Yeah, and then they go and they just get money like nothing's happened.
I know, I don't get that.
But do you know what annoyed me after that is I don't know what they done with the money. Did they go back and get a nice funeral for the boss guy, or did they go down to like a shop or something like that?
So you watched this entire movie, and the one thing that was going through your head was, how did they spend the money? How did they spend
It
this
was
money?
like 2 or 3 notes.
I know.
They hand it, and he even turns to like the friend. He's like,
So happy, so excited.
We get a note each. That was perfectly good for dismembering our boss.
But here's the bad part about it. They're going to go to a shop and they'll be like, I'm sorry, this isn't America. We don't accept US dollars. So
was it US dollars that they gave
It
him?
looked like US dollars to me. That was I went right up to the screen, pressed my nose against that.
Maybe it was like the 50s version of US dollars where everything was sort of like bigger and larger, and they had like these huge $1 notes.
But there was no Skull Island pounds or that. Do you know what I mean?
And not only do they just get a small amount of money, but no warning. They just hand the rat monkey right over.
Yeah.
I know you think they
The
were.
one guy's looking on.
Yeah.
He's looking on like, oh, I hope nothing bad happens. Warn them.
Yes.
No, he
Heads
was
up.
he was actually looking over, not worrying about the monkey. All he was worrying about was, am I going to get my huge American dollar?
The trams. So when I was watching the trams there, they came round and I was watching it. I was like, all right, cool, that's just trams. And then I was like, it was like a double take, and I was like, wait a minute. And I looked up close to it, and I was like, it's actually a model set. And then it happens like a couple more times as well. But I just thought that was genius. Like nobody would get away with doing that, in a film these days.
No,
but,
it would all be CG, but you can see them getting like pulled along.
Yeah,
and
it's amazing though.
Especially where the lead character falls into one at one point, and you just think, one second, I was watching, I'm just going, is that a model, or does New Zealand still have working trams? Because I love everything about the set design, and we said it a few times. You sometimes forget that it's set in 1957.
I
Yes.
think
57, yeah.
1957, yeah.
But the way that it's shot and the costumes, apart from like a few characters, doesn't really scream 1957, which means that it still has like, it's set in a time period, but it still has like this timeless
Yes.
look about it. And I
Definitely.
love that about the direction
Yeah.
that he went with that.
No, completely agree. So we then get a classic blood splatter title card.
Well, you have to have
Blood
it.
splatting, and a little cartoon thing saying Brain Dead. I don't know.
That's what I want. Why did they change the name? What is it about Brain Dead that would not sell in America?
But in America, it's not just Brain Dead. They do it with every film. You know, like.
Oh yeah, because they did it with, for example, like they didn't want Evil Dead 3 to be called Evil Dead 3, even though Sam Raimi had like the Medieval Dead, which I love that. They chose to go with Army of Darkness,
Yeah.
and they tried to separate it from the trilogy.
Yes.
What's the point in
Yeah.
that?
They even did it with Zootropolis. I was raging. It's like, just call it the same name.
So with the titles finished, we now cut to a woman in a shop. It's Paquita, played by Diana Penalver.
Yeah,
I don't know
let's
how
go.
to
Let's
pronounce
go
her
with that.
surname. Diana Penalver, who strips off to lesser clothing in order to impress the man that's bringing her meat.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that on his van. It said Kiwi Bacon Ham Small Goods.
I did see the Kiwi bit. I couldn't make out anything else.
Yeah.
Do you know what I found amazing about that bit was how it showed how people tried to get a date back in the 50s pre-Tinder. Like the women, like there was no Tinder or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? Like how do you meet someone? I don't know. So what she does is she takes the thing off, what do you call it, the strap on her dress,
There
and
you
he
go.
puts it back on. And then after that, she goes and gets the tarot cards whacked out. You're like,
To swipe left.
basically, you're like, what? No, this doesn't make sense.
Just to make sure, she looks at him longingly as he leaves, as if I'm in love with this man. Then
Yes.
some old woman's like, let's see what the cards say.
Yeah.
Nope. Sure, this isn't the man for you.
But who, Doug? Who's the one?
Lionel enters the store, played by Timothy Baum. He's a bumbling and clumsy type. Paquita seems to dislike him kind of instantly. She's just kind of looking at him as if like, oh, this guy again.
I was going to say, I think the word you were looking for is she's repulsed by him, because he is, when you're introduced to him, he is a bit of a bumbling arsehole. The more that I watched this movie, it kind of reminded me of not Ash, but Ashley from the first Evil Dead. not the kick-ass chainsaw wielding Ash from Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
We're talking useless Ashley
Yes.
from Evil Dead 1. He kind of even kind of dressed the same with the shirts and the.
Yeah.
I don't think even Bruce Campbell could put off that sweater vest, but. And you mentioned it, the stationery, beautiful. It was also like, oh, he's a fumbling fool, but it made a symbol. Ooh.
And she starts walking towards him like some creepy sexual predator while he's backing away. And she's like,
No means no.
Not back in 1957, it didn't.
Do you know how as well? I read that the card. You know how that was a black armored knight.
Yeah.
Well, it turned out that the licorice that he takes is called Black Knight licorice as well.
Oh,
So there was a double
I
thing: the
didn't
star
see
and
that.
the licorice.
you see, that's an Easter egg.
Impressed by that one.
also just to point out, it's not an Easter egg, it's licorice.
Oh, that's beautiful.
When he's in that shop, I just thought that was really terrible customer service. I would hate to check their TripAdvisor because like he walks in and she starts banging the
Yeah.
I don't know if there's other shops nearby though.
See, that bit actually confused me because he hands over the list and he says, well, I'll just take this now. I thought he was going to wait while she collected
I
everything.
agree.
And left. But then she saw the licorice and it was pencils, wasn't it? And then she forgot about the list and just became all horny and randy and wanting him. So he more or less left the shop and got onto a tram.
Did you notice his weird pole dance onto the bus?
Yes.
Yeah.
He like kind of twirls around.
Yeah.
That's why she wanted him.
Yeah.
So then we meet Vera, which is Lionel's mother. She comes into the mix. Really horrendous, controlling, vile woman.
Oh,
Just looks a bit like Theresa May.
Do you mean later on in the movie or?
Oh, she's got Lionel running around.
Yes.
You know, like a pet dog, getting him to mow the grass.
and get a beetle out from under the fridge with the handle of a broom. I just thought even the brush part would be a little bit better to get a beetle out than the handle.
But before that, as he jumps off the tram, she shouts from about half a mile away, and he picks it up like it's nobody's business. He gets off the tram, he walks on, he's like, as he whistles, I can't remember, and then she shouts his name from up the hill, and he hears it and he runs.
So Paquita arrives with Lionel's order. Take it away, Des.
Well, she remembered the bacon and the licorice and the sexual tension is.
Yes.
It is not there at all.
She asks all the normal flirty questions like, you live here always, you like my dog, and it's very big, yes?
Yeah,
Those are the three questions
She wasn't
asks.
talking about the house, though.
Do you know what I thought was quite impressive just before she arrives was that his lawnmower breaks and he magically had a screwdriver in his pocket to fix it.
Yeah, but he always carries a screwdriver with him.
I mean, is that what people did in the 50s before they had phones and stuff like that? Keys, phones, wallet, screwdriver.
He gives her this kind of
point.
creepy serial killer stare when they agree to go on a date. She's
Yeah,
just
but
like,
the music implies that it's romantic and whimsical, even though that if you were to take that scene and put any other music
Yes.
over it, it would come across as really weird and stalkery
Creepy.
and creepy.
Yes.
So Vera spots this and decides to play the pity card by pretending to be emotional about her late husband in an attempt to make Lionel stay behind, but he doesn't. He still goes.
Yeah, fair play.
Doesn't she break a mirror?
A vase.
She baits him back in by breaking it so that he'll lapdog the airs run back in.
As he always does.
Yeah, well, he is trained to be that way.
It's probably the worst date that I've ever seen in my life. And that includes any I've been
Well,
on.
so
I
far.
refuse to agree with
Overall.
that. Oh, overall, yeah, it's a disaster.
Oh, if you want to play it play by play, it starts off quite sweet and like there's lots of sort of hand touching the back and he's happy and he's smiling. She's happy, they're asking questions. There's bits where they're just walking through, you don't hear what they're saying, but they look really, really like they're enjoying each other's company.
Yeah, the music tells you that. That's how
Yes.
you know. The music tells you what emotion you should be feeling.
Yes.
But I love that they're going through the zoo and then there's nice and then they get to the monkeys and the monkeys all sweet and lovely and jumping about the place and then all of a sudden and then doesn't he like rips off an arm or something and then just start
No,
yeah.
Do you know what I think though was really cool about seeing the rat monkey for the first time is often in films that you watch like that, you don't see that till the end or there's a real big build up and maybe halfway through or something like that. Like remember like something like Jeepers Creepers, you don't see the creepy man till the very end.
Yeah.
But with this one, they just go unleash it and you're like, wow, that's incredible. And you're looking at it and they've done such a good job with it and it's very creepy, makes you feel a bit on edge.
Perfect stop motion animation that completely fit the tone of the film.
Exactly. He
I thought.
could have easily have done like a hand puppet or something like that, but the fact that he went for that fella, that he chose to go for stop motion. I love that it is so stoppy and jerky, but I love that about stop motion animation, and I love the fact that he added that into the movie.
However, this scene's begging one question to me, and maybe one of you guys would be able to answer it.
Mm-hmm.
We all know, having watched the film, what the rat monkey's bite's capable of.
Yep.
Yes.
They don't yet, because it hasn't happened yet, but it's still clearly a very ugly,
Yes.
evil little creature. It's not an attraction at all. Yet they've got it in a cage, no warning sign. It's clearly wanting to bite people and attack the monkeys. Why is the cage attached to the monkey's cage? To the point that it can reach through?
It's a rat monkey. You're not going to put, the spiders next to the fish tanks. You put everything together so that it's all calculated and easy to mark
But
down.
if one monkey's going to knock out the other and eat it, I don't think it should be anywhere near it.
I think Doug's right on this, and the reason that I think that he's right on this one is because the guy
I
who
could edit all your commentary out of the video.
well, that probably would be a good thing for all concerned.
Are you going to mention the zookeeper?
The guy who comes up and he explains that it's been like, I don't want to be too disgusting, but it's been pumped by everything that's come to the island. He basically tells him that, and it's been humans and everything like that. So it's like this mix, and that's why I think they should have had it in a bit more secure place.
A little bit more, yeah. I'll agree. Maybe a little bit more security, like a velvet rope that people can't cross over, or maybe like a danger keep.
Velvet
One
rope.
sign that says "Stay
A
back
velvet
from
rope.
the cage."
You should never imagine if you were in charge of like Jurassic World or something like that. Just put a velvet rope around the T-Rex, it'll be fine.
Well, tell me something. When you're going to a nightclub and you see a velvet rope, do you cross said rope?
It's Leith, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's interesting to note our little side plot of the movie that comes when they're at the zoo, and that's that Lionel spots and seems scared of water.
Yeah.
Tells a story of almost drowning and that his father saved him. However, it's not like he was looking at the sea or the ocean or anything.
I agree.
It was like he was looking in the sink and
Yes.
he started getting all traumatised.
He must freak out every time he runs a bath.
Yes.
It seemed like they forced that upon us, that bit, because it felt very early. He'd only met that girl a brief period of time. We've all met those guys, who tell their entire burdens to a girl as soon as they meet them. But
Hello.
Sympathy sex.
for him to unveil that big thing on her so soon, I think it was like 16 minutes into the movie. It seemed like forced, in my opinion.
I will kind of agree with that, especially if like he's in that old big rickety house and the mother asks him to like fix a dripping tap. Does he see like a single drop of water and then
blacks out?
Yeah, blacks out or runs outside to tell the birds about his harrowing story of how he nearly drowned.
Yeah,
he has to do that. Yeah, imagine if it started raining, he would freak out.
Even though he left, she came along anyway.
How did she get there?
The tram.
But she gets here quite soon after as well.
The speedy trams. And she had like no disguise ever. Her disguise was a pair of sunglasses.
You don't want to be dressed in like bright clothes and sunglasses because that's not really a disguise.
Wasn't she introduced like she was in the
face in the hole.
That's the one, yeah.
And then she disappears quickly and you're like, oh.
Yes.
That was so scary.
Oh, yes.
Well, she heads over to try and like spy on Paquita and Lionel, and then the rat monkey bites her.
Yes.
And Lionel runs to save her, but unfortunately, she murders the shit out of the rat monkey herself.
That is fair play. I take it back now. She probably could go and get a tram if she could leather that monkey senseless like she did.
You say that, but if you look back over that scene again, she's not really stamping on the monkey. She's delicately putting her toe of her shoe on a puppet that they can't afford to break.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
Yeah, she's not really like stomp on the bass. It's more so like, can't break this because Peter Jackson can't afford another.
We get all the Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
Shots.
And the guy takes a picture as well. How's he got a big camera cut? Where's
Because that's going to be in like the front of the Daily News. Old woman kills monkey.
No, but where is he in those days? Because it was like carrying a case of beer, the size of it. Do you know what I mean? He's like just walking about with that.
That was their version of a smartphone, and it wasn't even a phone.
So Lionel takes Mum home, leaving Paquita all alone.
Yeah.
I know.
It's that look, isn't it? When he looks back, that confirms it is indeed overall the worst date of all time. He looks back and he's like, sorry, pal. It was just like brutal. And she's just left standing there like it was some kind of other weird movie with that jacket on, like kind of romance has died.
You know what? To me, what makes it worse is that Lionel takes the mother home, tucks her in bed, and then she just says that thing of like, "Oh, Lionel, you're such a good boy." I was like, "Oh, you were manipulating him to the nth degree."
Suddenly, Paquita is outside shouting up, "Lionel, Lionel," and the mother doesn't hear that.
Right, you're right. Our accents are terrible, but at least we can imitate a woman. Lionel.
That was my own, just me doing a voice like myself.
Use a kiss, Lionel.
I can't do any accents at all. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
But yeah, you are right. She's down.
She's shouting up, and he's like, even his shush. His mother would have heard that in my opinion.
You gotta be quiet.
Yeah.
Stop talking! Whisper more!
Let me put away my megaphone. You know what I mean? It's like shouting, and then he realises that he's not going to get her to wish, so he brings her up the stairs.
That's why he did.
Yeah, you're not going to wish, are you? But the one thing I do love about the scene is when they're up on the balcony, and again, Peter Jackson, that beautiful crane sweep shot where it starts up low and then pans up. I love things like that. That is such a nice scene, even though he has got to be the worst on-screen kisser I have ever seen.
Yes.
It's both of them. They're
weird. There is no romance whatsoever. He may as well be kissing his sister.
It's weird because there's no tension going on between Lionel and Paquita. And all the orgasm type sounds are coming from the mother. It looks really awkward. That and the pulsing kind of pussy wound. It just meant
teenagers in '92 couldn't.
I think there was a lot happening in.
They couldn't get their kicks off. Happy hardcore.
What do you think of the mum's wound?
It's like such a simple thing of like a blood stain through bandage, and you just see a pulse, and you're some shit's gonna go down here.
That's not gonna be good.
No, something's gonna go wrong, and then. I know we're jumping ahead, but then Lionel walks in and he's just sort of like, "Oh, Mom is such a beautiful day." I'm gonna stop doing accents. So Lionel comes in, he's opening the curtains. "Oh, Mom, it's a beautiful day." Ray turns over and he sees her and the state that she is in. And what this bit confused me. So the
Mathesons,
the Mathesons are coming around, so she has to get ready. So she goes to the makeup mirror to start putting. What does she do that puts that cut on her face?
She tries to shave.
Why is she shaving?
I don't know, because she's an old woman and they're hairy.
Because she's been bit by a monkey and she's losing her mind.
Why is there a razor in her bedroom?
To shave her legs.
She seems like the kind of woman that might have an ensuite, though.
It was gruesome, that cut on her face.
Yes.
But the joke with the glue is so perfectly executed that...
They play it off as if it's not a strange request at all. They're just like, oh, okay, we better be quick about it, and they just...
But had they done so well in that short period of time as well, because I know she still looked at a mess, but they like really did package her up quite well.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I would, I'm just saying.
Well, the Mathesons arrive and they go to dinner and she's sitting there looking like some kind of pantomime dame.
Yes.
The mother's sitting there speaking like fucking Matt Damon in Team America to them with...
It sounds like she's...
very proud of this honor. And then I watched this movie twice. I watched it once a few years ago and I watched it once for this podcast recording. I still cannot watch the custard scene.
They actually make the eating of custard look disgusting before she even adds the jam to it.
The camera's down on the table looking up at him and he has this
The
what looks like an
biggest
enormous
spoon.
spoon, like a shovel.
Yeah.
And it's the way he opens his mouth and he's obviously not got a nice mouth and he devours it. But then it's how she, what is it, blood? Is it goo? Is it
Kind of a
something from the
mixture of
monkey?
blood and pus.
Am I going to make Des sick by keep repeating the words that I'm saying?
Yes, you are. God.
Challenge accepted. No, but when she squirts it, she's never done that before, as far as you can see, but with great aim, manages to land it into his bowl. Like, it could have hit his face, it could have hit the table, but she's like... and off it goes, and it lands there, and it just sits on top of it, and I'm really making Des feel uncomfortable. So this is amazing. But what happens after that is the wife, who we assume is wife, is sitting there, and she does not give him a single heads up once.
Just kind of looks and gurns. Even when the ear falls off the mother into her custard,
Yes.
she just is like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Tell her.
Yes.
You alright, Des?
No, I tell you what. You guys keep going. I will be back in just a second. I seriously actually need to go and get some air. You guys keep talking. I will return. That you are a bastard, Paul, for talking about that scene.
I won. This is amazing. I've made Des leave the room.
He's such a cunt, isn't he?
Right, but that scene where how she doesn't give him a heads up. He is oblivious to the mum. The son is so scared of the mum that he doesn't say, right guys, you need to go out of the house, and they all just sit and ultimately take it. You might be wanting to get yourself down the road, but they don't get themselves down the road.
And he does eventually, but even then, completely oblivious to everything that's going on with Vera. I think there's a passing comment where he's like,
she's
she
looking a bit
didn't-
peaky or something.
Not herself today, no,
Yeah.
but should we be waiting for Des before we continue? Or
But he could be a while, and he's not interrupting us, so it's fantastic, isn't it?
I think I can hear him coughing through there. So after the guests leave, Vera's scared that they're going to take her away, but Lionel says that he's going to look after her no matter what.
Okay, I'm back. Right, we can.
Okay.
So custard for pudding. Mother adds jam to the custard.
So is this leading into
Yes.
the nurse? Is this?
No. We've jumped a bit there. Before that, there's the scene where Paquita turns up with her beloved
Tarot cards.
I also missed it a bit too.
Yeah.
We both missed it a bit. Boom.
She turns up with her tarot cards and warns Lionel that dark forces are coming. Then a dog yelp is heard from upstairs.
Yes.
How much of the dog did Vera eat?
Now, the first time I saw this, I thought that the dog, foolishly, I thought the dog had survived because just a tail was removed from the mother's mouth.
And you thought she just got a
I
bit of it?
thought that she went for the dog,
And it got
didn't
away.
get the dog, but got the tail.
Your mother ate my dog!
Not all of it.
Well, I think if we were on Mock the Week, things you shouldn't say when your mother's just eating someone else's dog, not all of it would be probably the top answer.
She doesn't look that bothered. At the time, she's just kind of almost smiling when fighting her off. And then they tumble down the stairs and she runs for help.
Yeah.
The mother grabs Paquita upstairs. They're together.
Yeah.
And none of that goes on to her, and her clothes are still perfectly clean.
No, again, continuity. It makes it a lot easier to have continuity when there's no blood anywhere.
Yeah, but it makes it unbelievable. if there's no blood
Really,
going on to you.
this movie about the rat monkey that bites an old woman and infects more or
Yes.
less an entire town.
Yes.
That's the part that's unbelievable.
Yes, what you've described just sounds like what I imagine Love Island to be.
So the nurse was luckily just outside, but poor Vera dies. Or does she?
Do you not think the nurse though? That was like you're sitting there going, oh, it's going to happen any second.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
But the execution of it was not. Because you know that the mother's going to come back. Lionel's doing the whole big tear. Oh, mother's gone. And then the nurse is trying to
We're
comfort
looking
him.
after you.
But they make it so incredibly violent that no matter
Yes.
how predictable it is, it's a bit shocking to see anyway.
I love like the fingers going into the nurse's face. And the one thing that I love about this movie is that so the nurse is decapitated, so her head is hanging, and you would just think, oh, that'll just be like a one-time gory thing. That's the running theme for the nurse, is that nothing can go down her throat and her head keeps flopping back. I love that about that character.
That was awesome.
However, I don't want to ruin it for you guys, but I just want to ask.
Oh god.
The nurse was never bitten, she was just decapitated.
Yeah.
How does she turn?
The beginning bit, it wasn't just bites that they were cutting off, it was
a scratch.
So could have been that.
There we go.
And the fingers were dug right into her face.
And
so
the mother was the one that got bitten directly by the monkey. So anything she touched probably did.
so she's patient zero. Well, you know,
Death surrounds him.
yes, that's the reason we're going for. Death surrounds him.
Back to accents.
So the nurse comes alive and the mother fights her.
Yeah.
Lionel, he knocks them both out in the basement. Despite this seeming odd, he doesn't say anything to Paquita. Oh.
He goes to see the secret Nazi.
Lionel meets a freaky vet Nazi who sells him tranquilizers.
But he's got a lot of drool.
Yeah, he says he's from Latvia, but he seems very German.
Did you notice when he backed off a bit and stood, he was in the middle of the two horns?
Yes.
And he looked like even more crazed. It was like, I don't know if it was a sheep or a goat or whatever it was, but it's weird.
And
Tranquilizers
he
in
used
Wellington.
to think that he looked like Harry Enfield.
I was actually thinking he looked a lot more like Ade Edmondson. Same sort of face that he was making. So I instantly thought of Ade Edmondson.
I don't know what he looked. I was so distracted by the fact he kept drilling and then I was like, oh.
It was like, oh, that's your bit. So the custard is my bit and yours is the Nazi drooling.
I'm cool with weird.
Well, the detail that
monkey
I
custard.
noticed is that they spelled tranquilizer wrong on the the jar.
Maybe he had like a label maker, but he only had enough ink for one label, misspelled it and just went, oh, fuck it.
Maybe the person was dyslexic that made that.
Or maybe that's the New Zealand way of spelling tranquilizer.
Or maybe the fact that he was a German Nazi runaway, maybe English wasn't his strong suit when it was printed.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah, let's go with
Let's
that.
go with that. Okay.
It's deep.
Yeah.
So, he uses the tranquilizers on the zombies while dressed like...
The
You
world's
notice what he
worst
was wearing?
superhero.
Yeah, he's got like this trench coat thing going on.
Cricket.
Sorry, the armour.
I mean,
yes.
he's at 10 out of 10 for effort because he's planning on not getting bit and he does really well with that.
Yeah.
But then he remembers he's quite weak and like not very skilled.
What he was wearing, it reminded me of three things here. You guys tell me. I thought he maybe looked like one of the agents from Critters. Do you remember the
Yes.
agents that came down?
Yeah, I remember
been a long
that.
time.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
There was an old Twix advert where there was a little grey fella that was carrying the massive Twix. And the other one was maybe when Father Ted was having to inform Father Jack that Father Stone...
One out of 3.
Yeah, but he is planning ahead. The one thing I don't get, though, is that... So he gets the nurse tranked.
Yes.
And then he does the same to the mother, and the mother's struggling, and he has to do it up the nose.
I don't know why. I think it looks like he does it by accident the first time.
Yeah, why does he keep doing it?
Because it's into the brain.
Then stab her through the
dead.
brain. Why does he have to aim for up her nose?
Probably because it's a hole. It's probably...
How would you get a syringe through someone's skull?
Side of the head?
You might break it.
Lionel learns from the woman, the mother of Paquita, or
Yeah.
I don't know who, but that death surrounds him as per the cards.
Yeah. He's not fully disheveled as he is later on in the film, but you can see that this is slowly starting to take its toll on him.
So while Lionel's in the shop, the mother seems to have escaped and she's running
Yeah.
across the road, barging past people, and they don't seem to know or care despite her clearly being
Yes.
Yeah.
practically dead.
What I don't understand is that he's going to get his tarot cards read. Why does he have a full syringe of tranquilizer with him when he is miles away from his house?
What, you judged him? You said it was normal to have a screwdriver, so maybe he just
You know
carries
what?
everything.
You know what? I did say that. I retract that question. I apologize. Yeah.
But the mother gets hit by the tram and flies straight through the shop window.
Yeah, that happens a few times in the film, like things like that. The way that how projectile.
Yeah.
And I know it's obviously for the comical effect, but that was the first time I probably saw it, and she really flew through there from a tram and landed right through a shop that she was trying to go to.
I will give you that one.
Thank you.
Yeah. But I really want to talk about the next scene.
Okay.
Wow.
The funeral scene.
We cut to the funeral,
Yeah.
and then we get introduced to somebody awesome. Who do we get introduced to? No? Don't like him, guys?
He is
What?
no.
Uncle Creepy
Uncle
Mc-
Les.
Uncle Creepy McBastard? No.
Is it not Len?
Les.
Les.
I thought it was Len. Must have misheard.
G'day, Lionel. It's your Uncle Len here.
Yes. What is that thing?
Oh, the
What
thing.
is that?
I think that's an asthma
I
inhaler.
googled it, but it didn't look like he was doing it. It looked like a glass pipe for smoking.
It looked
something
like a
in.
crack pipe
Yes.
or something.
I always thought that it was an asthma inhaler because he
I think it is, but what would an asthma inhaler look like back in the 50s?
I googled
like
it
that.
and got nothing.
as soon as he appears on screen, the only thing that I thought was, oh, he's going to die. I hope it's a gruesome way.
I have exactly here. I love this guy. It's just a shame that he's clearly been introduced to have the most horrendous death of any character that's going to be in this movie.
The most horrendous.
Yes,
Maybe.
and they
But
build it up as well.
Yeah.
When you see characters like this, the ones that are very much an asshole, you know that they're going to have a really horrible death later, and which sucked because I love Uncle Les. I mean, look at him there in his little.
I wanted him to die. If I was, later on in the film, I would have let him die.
Hey, when he's during the funeral scene, he is tolerable at best.
No, he's not. He's talking during the funeral. He's trying to chat up the girlfriend.
Just trying to get me howl here, mate.
You wanted to talk about the funeral scene. What was it?
All right. Everything that I adore about this film is all contained in the funeral scene. So you've got a creepy uncle that you want to die. You've got the introduced to the Reverend, all with his beautiful silvery flowing locks. You have the incident with the corpse in the background. The
Wallace and Gromit room.
Yeah. Which, by the way, did anybody else pick up who the...
Peter Jackson is the morgue assistant.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And he looks so young and fresh.
He doesn't have a beard.
Oh, yeah. But it's that scene where, like, so they've messed up the corpse. It has to be a closed casket. But then the funeral director just puts his fingers over the edge and just pops him back into place.
Yes.
I love that. And then the priest is given like this really powerful eulogy, being cut intermittently with Lionel trying to tranquilize his mother, and then they come crashing into the glass. And doesn't Uncle Les say, oh, this party's gotten off to a start, or something along those lines?
He laughs hysterically while
he
everyone
doesn't
else
stop
looks in
laughing.
shock. He doesn't stop.
It's the fade out that stops him
But
from
I
laughing.
get why he was laughing. Because, like, in a weird way, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Because he's like, it just looks like a guy can't let go of his mother because he even hugs her because of the awkwardness of the situation.
Yeah.
And they're like, poor guy.
Yeah.
That's my
I
accent.
also noticed that the priest looks more hacked off at being interrupted than the fact that
Yes.
a dead woman's come crashing through with her.
I was given some quality Christian gold here, Mike. But
He's here as well.
I know,
the priest here. That's amazing.
beautiful, isn't
Yeah.
it? Everything about this movie is contained within that 7-minute scene. The gore, the comedy, the over-the-top actors, chewing scenery left, right, literally chewing scenery left, right, and center. I love this. Is my favorite part is the funeral scene. I love this in the movie.
His mother ate her dog. She ruined the first date. All sorts of weird shit has went down. She just witnessed him hugging his dead mother at a funeral, and she's still there.
Cards, Paul.
She's either a keeper or a mentalist.
Maybe she's both.
So that's us loading up the second half of the movie right now. So we're just going to take a commercial break. But how about a little question, Des, just to tide you over until the commercials are finished?
Quick question: can Paul join in, or is this just for me?
Paul can join in.
It's the best day of my life.
I know.
A little question to take you to the ad break.
Okay.
Which retired Scottish actor gave lead actor Timothy Balm acting lessons?
Retired.
Can I help you?
Excuse me, hi. I wanted to find out about the unlimited for life guarantee.
Sure. Sprint is guaranteeing unlimited talk, text, and data for life.
Cool. And what if, say, technically you were not alive? Like, maybe you were undead?
Like a zombie.
Whoa, let's not go putting labels on people. I'm a zombie.
Unlimited from Sprint. It's guaranteed for life. Now for only $80 a month.
New Bird's hot and fruity custard pots.
Blink. Blink. Blink, blink. Blink. Blink, blink. Blink, blink. Blink, blink. Blink, blink, blink.
If it's not New Bird's hot and fruity custard pots, you're a custard pot short of a treat.
So before the break, I asked you which retired Scottish actor gave lead actor Timothy Balm acting lessons. Ross Hepburn.
That is such a specific joke that only about 3 people that listen to this podcast will get it, and 2 of them are in the room with us now.
But for those who know him, it makes
total sense.
The very over the top.
And just for Ross, I have to ask, why isn't this the greatest movie of all time? That one's just for you, Ross. Yay.
Lionel goes to Dick Up. Dick Up.
Don't you dare edit that. Don't you dare edit that.
Which is what they were fought, to be fair.
That's exactly. What a segue.
Beautifully saved.
So I don't really know why he was digging her up. It seemed like she was already down there.
I think he was going to trank her again.
Was he going to do that every night?
I think
He
so.
didn't have a plan. He said he didn't know how to make it stop.
Yeah.
He did say that he would look after her no matter what.
Exactly.
did.
He knew that she was going to still be alive in that coffin. Alive.
Yeah. So he's there and he's going to dig up her remains to tranquilize her, and then out of the blue, because it's 1950s,
The cast of Grease.
yes, just some greasers who have nothing better to do than drink in a graveyard.
So they beat him up with their pack mentality and bad acting.
Worse than the bad acting is the laughs.
Oh, yes.
I was sitting there like, I'm going to turn this down. The laughs.
I bet he's got girlies gruts on under his strides.
It was like they were trying to outdo one another as well.
Wasn't there one scene where like 2 of them laugh and then they look at the third to hear his laugh as well? It was sort of like, is your tribe or pack or whatever the hell you want to call yourselves, are you the laughing hyenas? Is that what you call yourselves?
I wouldn't, because they're not very good at it.
But then one of them gets their beautiful comeuppance, especially after Lionel says, "You're pissing on my mum's grave." I'm not even going to do the accent. "You're pissing on my mum's grave," and we all knew what was going to happen.
Of course.
The mother grabs his nads and kills him.
And not only treat him like he was like in some kind of like cheese grater when she's like ramming his body up and down, and there's all that ridiculous amounts of blood spraying everywhere.
Yeah.
She then launches him like she's a tram. Launches him, and again with sheer accuracy that knocks him down. Like we're watching WWE. You know, when somebody jumps over the ropes and just magically they're all grouped together.
Yeah,
you know,
that was amazing. But then we're introduced to
an even better fighter than the mother.
Oh,
this is the best bit.
Yeah,
this is the best bit.
This was your first time seeing the film.
Correct.
What did you think of it?
Yeah, you couldn't be expecting
this bit. I genuinely did not see it coming, and I genuinely perked up a bit when when you're watching a film, you're just like lying on the couch, you're chilling, stuff like that, and I watched this, and then suddenly out of nowhere, I was like, "What?"
Yeah,
like I got America. I was like, "What?" Like, this is amazing. And then but then you get so swept up in it, you forget that's never going to last.
But what did you think? Like, Bruce Campbell has his groovy. What did you think of his line?
Yeah.
That now.
Which one? I could count 2 that he says that were great.
Well, the one I'm thinking of is,
I kick ass for the Lord.
No, there's another one he says.
This calls for divine intervention.
That's the one.
he would give Bruce Campbell a run for witty one-liners. he made the most out of it.
But what a rubbish way to go out.
Yeah.
Because the kick that he was doing reminded me of, do you remember Mortal Kombat?
Oh,
Liu
yeah.
Kang, when he's doing that, bish, 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 and when he was doing that sort of kick constantly, I was like, whoa, that's so cool. And then, of course,
He gets fingered by a statue. Nice to see it the other way around.
I did think it was a cheap way for him to go.
I mean, there's you can see it on the screen, but tell us, does he get bitten?
He gets bitten by one of the greasers on the side of the neck.
What he does is he kicks the head off of one of the greasers, and the head falls back down and lands on him.
That's right.
Again, the accuracy of these dead people are incredible.
Didn't play any music, which
just
kind of
sound
made
effects.
it funnier. It kind of made it funnier.
Yeah.
You just heard these slapstick.
Because it would kind of underplay it that if they were to put in that sort of like the cheesy, again, Benny Hilly type music, it would take you out of it. But just to have just the ridiculous kung fu movie sound effects, it adds to that scene.
But then that guy, I think it's the one where the head goes on to his shoulder.
Yeah.
He kicks every limb off him. You're like, how, what? Person?
It's not even like he's a decomposed corpse. He
Yes.
is freshly dead.
Yes.
So this priest has the power to rip limbs off of
It was
living
divine
human bodies.
intervention.
True.
He was
It was.
channeling the power of Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
whatever, floats
And
your
now
boat
we get
does.
the second dinner scene of the movie.
Oh,
Great effects overall.
Oh, yeah.
The spoon going through the back.
yeah.
Oh, that's
pouring
incredible. The mum grabbing a bit off the spoon and eating it as well. Instead of just going in a plate, she sees a spoon and she just grabs a handful.
And I love that he's whinging that she
Like a
got
baby.
it. and then again, the nurse, the head pops back up, she's swallowing, and it comes out of the neck. Oh, that's...
But our clever lead character tilts her
pouring
head
straight
back and
down.
starts pouring it straight in. And
I
you're like,
know.
okay. And then we obviously get to the horny
reverend and the nurse. And they get their freak on.
That wasn't divine intervention.
What is the opposite of divine intervention?
That.
So Uncle Les turns up at the door,
Of course he does.
Yeah.
informing Lionel of his urinal infection almost immediately.
I do love that they put in like this weird, like it was like a cork popping sound effect of when he's at the back. And then just pure flow.
It's so unnecessary, that bit as well. Because the camera could have been outside looking in, and the camera's looking up again, like the custard scene. The camera's pointing up on it, all the expressions. You're like, they're doing it to make you feel uncomfortable, obviously.
Because they did the same when the greaser's pissing on the mum's grave. They obviously they do the behind shot so you could see the flow going between his legs.
Yes.
But when he first starts, it's that same shot of angled low pointing up at him.
Two chins. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's and then everything sort of happens. I mean, fair play to Lionel. He comes up with some really good excuses for Uncle Les not to look around the place and not to go into the room.
Well, it's Les himself seems to think that the priest and the nurse having sex, he thinks that it sounds like pornography. I think it was his father's
Pornography he recognised.
Yeah. And actually what I found really creepy about this scene is Lionel actually pushes back for him not to go in, and Les responds with that he understands and there's some things a man might prefer to do on his own.
Yes.
Implying that he was willing to sit there and have a wank with his nephew.
Yes.
Or something slightly worse.
Yes.
Let's leave that one hanging in the air like a stale fart.
Yep. And then that's when he goes back into the room once Les has buggered off. He goes back in the room and they're going at it. Yeah. Which I won't lie, that part felt bizarre. We could hear it was happening, but it seemed odd that would be what the two brain dead people would do.
Yeah.
But then we had to obviously.
This had to happen.
Yes.
Yeah. Isn't this a bit where his lips skip?
Souped in.
Yeah.
It's like Popeye kissing olive oil. Is it olive oil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
stretches
he looked
right
like Plug from the Bash Street Kids.
good reference.
He's like right out here, and then he ends up with obviously his mouth getting ripped off.
The priest has sex with the nurse, and the baby gets born immediately.
A very, very quick pregnancy.
Something not biologically
At
correct.
least 9 months. 9 months premature in my book.
Or he was a reverend. He wasn't getting a lot of action. Maybe it was just sort of like done.
One and done.
There you go. One and done. Yeah.
Actually, we're going for a while, as we heard.
And then again, it's that lovely over-the-top thing of like the baby's born, but it's in the radio.
Yeah, how did the baby get in the radio?
don't ask
Probably the
questions.
same way that it got into the girl's head later on in the movie.
No, that was
It
mental.
burrows in from the back, even though it still works.
Yeah, but you'd think that any other film, they'd probably show you it scurrying, or like they don't show you it being birthed either. Which
Yeah.
I thought in that type of film, you're going to see a birth.
You would. Is that what you want to see?
No. Did you want to see the custard? But it happened.
Touche. All right.
So Lionel's hiding from Paquita, the old hiding behind the car trope, but the car drives away and he's seen to just
That's
be
so comical. I love that bit.
I was just trying to picture if that happened in Halloween or something, when Michael Myers disappears and then someone was to maybe walk around
Yes.
the bush and then he's just kind of standing there like...
It's like something that's probably been used by maybe like a scary movie, the parody, something
Probably.
like that. Yeah.
Get there. And then the meat guy from the beginning of the movie comes in to save the day.
Yes, and knocks him.
He
knocks
says
him
that
flat on his
people in
ass.
town are talking about him and they're saying that he is strange.
Wait,
Really?
just to check, is this scene before or after the baby stroller scene?
No, the stroller scene's after.
Is it? Okay.
Definitely after.
Directly after this,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
get introduced to Baby Selwyn.
Selwyn.
Baby
He
Selwyn
calls
is how
him
it
it.
was.
He calls him. I picked up the second time. I was
I
like,
missed it.
Selwyn.
Kind of looks like Dill from Rugrats if you were to step on him with some golf shoes or something. But
and he died.
So he is hiding all of the zombies in his house. He doesn't want anybody to know this.
Basement. Yeah.
In the basement. Why is he taking the baby out in a stroller?
this, I was worried that this was going to actually cause a bit conflict here because I was
you know why they done
convinced
it?
you guys would love it. They had extra money.
Yeah.
They had
Yeah.
extra money and they just decided
On the last
after
2 days.
filming.
Really?
Yeah, because he had some budget left. Last 2 days, he thought, do you know what? Let's do this. And apparently, it's Peter Jackson's favourite scene in the entire movie.
I can see why, because if you take it the horror aspect, it is some of the best visual comedy I have ever seen.
Where did the pram come from?
Basement. That was his pram when he was growing up.
Was it? I didn't pick up on that.
No, I am pulling that clean out of my ass. That's where it came from.
But like, I was like, that's a nice clean pram. Where'd that come from? And then the best part about it is because you're thinking, God, that's going to escape and kill someone. And then you turn around and it's like barbed wire. Which, how could they just rip it off?
Well, there was barbed wire, but when the buggy crashes, the baby still propels out of it.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Despite the barbed wire
there's a
being
lot
there.
of propulsion in this movie.
Yes, there's a lot.
Yeah, the three
Pram,
things.
tram.
But why is he walking the baby?
He's trying to. I think in the weird part of this movie is they're trying to normalise. He thinks I've got to take the kid out because it's still a kid, and I think in his head because he doesn't have a plan and he doesn't know how to end it, as he keeps saying. I think he takes it out because then what he does is he sits at that bench and he watches what the other mother's doing and he tries to mimic the stuff. So I think he thinks that he's trying to like do a nice thing.
The reason I was going to give is nowhere near as good as yours. What I was going to say was that if you don't look after a baby properly, it screams all night, and he is probably exhausted. Yeah,
Oh, I've got the sit of the night.
No, in fact, what happens is he beats 7 shades of shit out of it in front of everybody.
And no one intervenes.
Yeah,
One guy watches on going like, yeah, with a fucking bottle of whiskey or something in his
Aye,
hand.
but he's out his nut.
Didn't
Like,
he
that's
see the
different.
baby?
But yeah, hilarious scene, but in my opinion, I know it differs from maybe the 2 years, but it makes no sense whatsoever.
Oh no, it makes no sense. Maybe maybe he had like a really stressful time doing this, and they had a little bit of extra money, and he just thought, you know what, I'm going
What
to
can I
make.
add?
Yeah, I'm going to make the most over the top. You know what? He probably just got everybody on set and told the actor,
Do what you want.
Yeah, go crazy. This is a doll. Doesn't matter if you break it. Go.
Once again, a woman, she just can't make up her mind. Literally, at the start of the movie, she was in love with this ham man.
Yeah.
The same night, she was turning up at someone's window, sneaking in and having awkward sex.
Yes.
And already back with somebody else. And I think this is all over the space of like a couple of days.
Yeah.
I just don't care about the character at all.
The mum is right. She is a tramp. That's
What happens now is
Yeah.
Les happens to be in the house and thinks that Lionel's killed the stiffs in the basement because they must have been drugged at this point.
Yeah.
And he calls the police reporting a multiple murder.
Yes.
Sorry,
But-
reporting what? Sorry. Do it again with the accent, please.
A multiple murder.
I thought you were going to go full Taggart there.
Yeah, there's been a murder. Oh, that was nice. We had that in the stereo for the
What
audience.
bothers me about this scene though is that Lionel does agree to give him the whole estate,
Yeah.
House and money.
but he'd already reported on the phone that there was a multiple murder
Yeah.
and there's no follow-up.
It's
Oh,
the
wait a
50s
minute.
though.
Oh, it
Yeah.
must have been a wrong call.
Yeah, no, it was the 50s. There was no 1471. Just drop that phone.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, I think
Good point. Never considered that.
Yeah. So here's the other kicker, right?
Go on.
They couldn't trace back that the police, the call came from there, but suddenly everybody knows that Big Les has gone empty.
Yeah.
In the space of like a minute.
You sounded so Scottish. That Big Les has gone empty.
Well, that's what you would see. You'd be like, oh, I'm not want to sit in tonight. Big Les has gone empty. Let's get round there. And then everybody was turning up with beer, kegs, whiskey, the lot.
Aye, but you think like the Scottish people here would drink, they'd probably show up with like a bag of weed and a bottle of Buckfast. They show up with crates and full of beer.
That's how I used to turn up at parties. Keg of beer, and
Good
a case
man.
of beer.
But
Even the punk turns up at the party after breaking free from the basement.
Yes.
and
he's loving it.
He is loving life or not life right
the
now.
chap he's on top of says something about, I'm not a paedophile, or is it something? He says something like
I think
that.
he says, I'm don't know.
It's something along those lines. But yeah, it's like he doesn't click that he's like a zombie or the undead or whatever.
Nobody
He's
clicks.
They just think it's a guy off his nut. It's like at a party, like where I grew up in the rap block, there would always be one guy gets in and they'd be going round the whole room doing everyone's nutting. You know what I mean? Ruining the atmosphere, drinking everyone's drink, stealing their drugs, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what this guy was like. But nobody wanted to say anything because he was like a hard man. They're like, I'll just keep my distance.
Because
I'll just sit back
They
here.
were too busy filming the photo frames that happened to be in the property.
Yes.
I know. Why did they have a millennial in this movie set in 1957? Let's get the women out of the way. Let's get the art.
Peter
on the
Jackson
wall.
predicted the hipster.
God, and did he? Good old Unky Les going around being extremely creepy, and then all of a sudden he becomes super rapey.
Yes.
Oh, so quickly.
Yes.
Oh my God. He
But
went.
thankfully, Paquita's right there to give her the old Bobby Hill treatment.
Trivia question for you. How many times does Uncle Les get hoofed in the balls?
I counted 4.
So did I.
If you include the mother grabbing his balls, I counted 4.
Yeah.
I don't know what they all are, so I googled it. And it's 5
Really?
5 times.
throughout the film, according to
I'm
yes.
missing one then in my
Same here.
notes.
We're going to
Yeah.
have to suffer.
Somebody
and
might
go
have made a YouTube clip of Uncle Les getting hit in the balls. To
back.
music.
Can we?
I'm going to make a video of Uncle Les getting hit in the balls.
And we're going to edit it in now.
Hans Moleman Productions presents Man Getting
hoofed in the balls.
Look at all those ball shots.
So many balls. Then you see Lionel going downstairs, and then Paquita. Oh, she goes into the basement to avoid creepy Uncle Les, and then discovers the bodies, where she hears the bad news and doesn't understand, and then leaves him. She understands and stays with him and helps him through this. I really like that, even though there's no romantic tension between those two at all.
Yeah.
The cards, Des. The cards.
And I love that she's looking down the stairs, she sees and just goes, death surrounds him.
Des, I've had girlfriends where I struggled to get a cup of tea. This guy has got this woman and he's like still treating her mean, keeping her keen, you know, right up until the last minute, and like she still keeps coming back. If I told my other half to do one or F off, you know, she's not going to come back and go, are you okay? She'd probably punch me.
So they decide to destroy all the bodies.
Yeah.
Lionel's still unsure, but thankfully, as most common houses do, they find a big jar of poison on the shelf.
Of course.
Was
Spelled
it
correctly.
It was the 50s. Yeah, imagine if they misspelled poison. Poison.
Poisoning.
Actually, a surprisingly sympathetic and surprisingly sad moment.
It's a
where
really
he's
tender
putting
scene.
down his mum.
I really
Yes.
wish he hadn't leant in to try and kiss her.
So they bury the dead finally in the
Yeah.
basement and they move on. Or do they?
Dun dun dun.
Les tries to make them stay, and him and Lionel briefly fight upstairs, and he successfully locks Lionel in the basement. I still love him. I just think if this show ever had a Hall of Fame, if it lasted that long, Uncle Les would have to be in it.
You disgust me, sir.
There's a bit after this. My memory's a bit vague off it at the minute, but how they start appearing like they're on the Titantron in the wrestling. You know, it's like 3 of them, like a tag team. It's like, it's a new day. Yesterday, they're just like, stand up there. And it's like, the lights flash over them almost. I'm waiting on the theme tune, like glass shattering or something like that.
What I don't understand is that this is a big bottle of poison.
Yeah.
But yet it's an animal poison and it's not fit for human consumption?
Actually, an animal stimulant, which is why the dead seem to rise in dramatic fashion.
How in the fuck can you get a poison that's a stimulant? That's like getting a night-night medicine that's secretly coffee.
Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. You mother, get up, come on, get down with the sickness. You fucker, get up, come on, get down with the dickness. Open up your hate and let it flow into me.
Possibly gore of the highest proportion.
Yes.
Ribs removed, faces peeled off, necks bitten.
There is not a single part of that house that is not covered in blood and guts.
Finally.
No, everything that you want in a full-on horror movie is there. I mean, what do you have? You have the people being turned into zombies. You have the greaser that's cut in half, and his innards are sucked, are falling out of his torso. They become a sentient being of their own. And the lungs, I couldn't make it what it was.
They look at themselves
in the mirror.
The entrails look at themselves in the mirror and admire themselves.
That freaked me out. I was like, what's it doing? It doesn't have eyes.
Yeah. What were the eyes? What were the elements that made up its eyes?
It was, and the legs were still working.
Yeah, the legs were.
That was weird because he looks up and you just see legs, and then you look up and it's just legs.
Yeah.
No,
but everything about that was perfectly sort of planned out. So the greaser's going to come through the door in the bathroom. Lionel is not going to do anything, so he's going to slam down on it, and the spikes of the wood is going to slice it in half. The legs are going to become sentient and walk around. Then the greaser's going to go for him in the bathtub, and the lungs and everything slip out. Then he falls into the toilet.
Yeah.
And Lionel's trying to get out through the hole in the roof. And I love that they use the entrails as like a whip type weapon for it, but somehow the one thing that'll stop it is overflowing bloody toilet water. I will kill you. Oh, water, no. No. So much happening
in that bit. You
even get a little Benny Hill spot on the blood in the main hallway where he keeps trying to run and they're closing in
that was weird. But like, because like that was like a nightmare. You know, you've had those nightmares, not exactly
you're trying to
like
run,
that.
but it's
you
too
can't
slow.
run, and that's what that kind of. And you kind of think I thought for a wee second, is he going to wake up? But you know, but he keeps running, and then eventually, and what happens after that is he runs on
the heads.
But when he gets to the other side and the camera looks back, there's only 3 heads, but he actually steps on 7.
Peter Jackson, I wish for you to re-edit so that there is 7 heads in the blood soak scene rather than just the 3. Yours sincerely, Paul.
At least 6 in case I'm wrong.
But I love that everybody gets their own little section. So you've got Lionel that's up in like the upstairs and in the roof section. You have Paquita in the kitchen trying to defend that, and you have Uncle Les out in the garden being the
with a gnome,
armed with a gnome.
Come on now, Les is a fucking warrior at the end of this movie.
Not at this point. He isn't. At this point, he's still a shitbag.
A bit cowardly.
He starts running off. He's trying to escape, and they pushes him at the road, and then he's like, "Let me in." And Paquita's like, "Nah, away you go."
I would have left him out there. I would. It was the specky girl that like tried to convince her, and then as soon as
that looks like Daria.
Yes, yeah. so Les is left in, and everything's fine, and then he sees the little scratch, and then he turns into homicidal. The bitch is gonna go down. And he's got that big meat cleaver thing.
He's the only one talking sense.
Yes, he is, but he is still a prick.
I just think that, with the exception of all the violence and all the gore, all the special effects that happens in the movie, Lionel and Paquita, it seems to revolve around a sort of lovey-dovey romance story. If you were to take all the horror elements out of the movie, Les is the only entertaining part that remains, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Are you going to go over the classic things of will something go into the food processor? It doesn't, and it doesn't, and it does, and it doesn't. You have my favorite attack ever: the dangling zombie with the light bulb.
Yeah.
Hanging in the kitchen, and it stays there throughout the entire attack.
But like all that time, she's just lit up, and she does this, and she can't get off it, and then miraculously, she can get off it
for dramatic purposes.
And of course, then Lionel falls down and yanks her back.
Yeah,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But the way it's going off, it's weird. That's what I think. She didn't want to be a light fixture anymore, so she got crazy.
Fair enough.
And managed to get out of there.
So Lionel escapes to the attic, and the medallion that he's got shows him the way to the mysterious box hidden in the chest.
Yes.
I couldn't care less.
Yes.
Send me back downstairs. He finds the chest and it's got the picture of the woman eating the precarious
He's
kind of
He's up there
sausage.
too long. Yeah.
I did think there was way too long. It's like all this zombie attack is happening downstairs, and then every once in a while it calls back to Lionel. I'm looking through these pictures.
Screaming.
Oh, look. Yeah. Sorry, Paquita, I'm just revisiting a very traumatic experience. I'll be there when the plot demands
I
it.
hope there's no water.
They went nowhere with it.
Yeah.
You get the flashbacks of someone drowning, but the actual, you would have thought that there would be.
Yeah, I agree.
He comes over his fear of water through some sort of heroic act, but not unless you consider what happens next.
I really think for a subplot, it's not needed. Probably take that out of the story. And
the mother was detestable before you found out that she'd actually committed murder.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that
she was already.
So imagine now,
Yeah.
So imagine what you feel about her. But is the bit here not the bit with the baby that gets involved? Is that where we're at? Is the bit where I think it's Paquita smacks a baby and it goes all the way up the room like, ee! And then it goes poof and comes all the way back, and then she leathers it in the face with a frying pan and gets a perfect like copy of his face on the frying pan, and I'm like,
now have we been introduced yet to what is clearly an adult guy in a baby costume trying to look like a baby as they run away?
It has its charm.
It does, but he couldn't even have pretended to walk like a baby. He is clearly just running like a man wearing a baby suit. So
I completely agree.
So the ladies are having absolutely none of Les. Tens of zombies come swarming in, and Les makes what looks like his last stand. As I said earlier, usually in these kind of movies, the asshole makes some kind of last stand for a big sacrifice, and you kind of think maybe he wasn't such a bad guy after all. Yeah. Les fucking slaughters them and even sparks up a cigarette, and
he doesn't move his legs. That's what I think is amazing about this, because the whole time he's just doing this. No one can see what I'm doing, but you can see on the screen exactly what's happening. He's just going crazy. He goes so fast and he's looking crazed, but his legs don't move.
Oh no, he plants himself. Sparks up a cigarette. I wish he'd taken a puff of his inhaler at the same time.
So if that's what it is.
He does.
Does he?
He uses the inhaler and then he lights up.
How did I forget that?
But then, ball attack.
Amazing.
That little shit.
Yes.
And he chases it all the way down the basement where he's met and dismembered by a gargantuan Vera. The lawnmower.
The lawnmower scene. Yeah. Yes. All right. So, lawnmower scene. Oh my God, the lawnmower scene is
possibly the goriest sequence in cinematic history.
And what's Lionel's opening line? He comes in, chainsaw around, and
party's over.
He tried his own groovy, and
it's a who's laughing now. That's what I thought it was more like. You know, when he cuts his arm off.
Oh my God! It is. Oh, it's horrifically beautiful.
What though? That lawnmower, right?
Yep.
With a blade of grass, put it on its ass, and he had to get the screwdriver out.
Yep.
Somehow, it was able to take out an army of zombies in his own house.
We're talking about zombies that are that fragile that a bulb can go through their entire skull, though.
Yeah.
But it seemed like compared to it didn't. A blade of grass stopped it. But like, he got the screwdriver out. That, you know what I mean? What's he doing now?
Clearly fixed it.
Yeah.
I want that lawnmower.
Now, did you ever think that maybe they were testing the lawnmower on cadavers before they put it out to the market, just thinking, well, if it cuts through a body, it'll cut through grass?
In this movie, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightst.
Yes.
Unfortunately, to kind of kill it a bit, this specific lawnmower didn't exist in the time period that the movie's set.
What?
Weird continuity.
I know. Yeah, they had the sit-on...
Fucking shite filmmaker.
They had the sit-on lawnmower, but he couldn't put that up onto his arms. What time period is it from?
Just so if he got
a couple of years later,
if he got a 50s lawnmower, it wouldn't have been able to go through all of them. It would have got 3 or 4. Then
if it got a 2018 lawnmower, it wouldn't have gotten anywhere near them.
No, they probably all would have died of asphyxiation as the exhaust slowly filled into the house.
So pretty senseless, but made for a very fun finale.
Oh, okay. The one thing I don't like is that should have been the end of the movie. It should have been he kills everybody with the lawnmower and that's it. It should have stopped there, because we don't need
gargantuan.
We don't need gargantuan mum.
But you do need the mum.
You do need the mum. Could have been the last zombie that he took out.
It could have been an emotional climax with the mum as opposed to just a violent one. It could have been just face to face with the one person that's started it all that he still cares about. Yeah, but they used that up earlier when he was putting her down, so you couldn't have used that same moment. And it's a ridiculous
movie.
That is true. I will give you that. The thing that I love about Les is that you can see from the shadow what happens to him. And I thought, okay, that's it. He's done, no more. And then he returns where his body is squished and it's just the spine and the head.
Yes.
And he keeps coming back. I have never laughed out loud as hard as I did when I saw him literally waddle into the room.
It's like The Thing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And then Paquita does not fuck around, grabs the spine, and she does the big swing. Boom.
The heat.
The
a
heat.
little bit of a disappointment for me is that it was a quick disposal of a character that you probably wanted to come up and... As was the punk zombie, it's sitting at the top of the stairs and it just kind of jumps on the lawnmower and he takes it out in quick succession. They felt like they could have been sort of semi-final bosses, but they were taken out about as easy as any of the others.
Agreed. Yeah.
So we then meet our final boss, Giant Mum.
Yes.
She attacks complete with her big, massive, saggy arse and big, massive zombie
It's
tits.
the way she climbs the stairs bothered me. It just looked like something on Sim City was planked there. Do you know what I mean? Just
I didn't like this. I think a bit like the entrails, I can find it relatable to imagine a reanimated individual chasing me.
Yeah.
I can't relate so much to a giant fighting its way through the mansion. It was kind of like the... I don't know if either of the two you saw Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and at the end there's the big animated puppet that comes running.
Yeah. You know, you kind of blew... To use a very grotesque... He blew his load with the lawnmower scene.
Yes.
It could have just been like
climatic.
Like you said, Doug, instead of like a big over-the-top scene, it could have been like a really emotional scene, and that would have really sort of grounded the movie a little bit.
Yeah.
But instead what happens is the stomach opens up and swallows Lionel whole.
Well, yeah, what does the mother say? She says something really creepy.
She tells him a few things like, don't talk to me like that. You can't. She says a few things, which is weird because she's dead. But why do they go on the roof in the first place when there's no escape?
Yeah. And the front door
was it not to do with the undead with the light fixture?
I think it's possible, yeah.
I'm sure she goes up to the curtains.
I think it does. Yeah, because like the spark goes where the wiring is, and it
goes into the curtains and stuff like that.
And it spreads the laundry in the
But then they could have jumped out a window or anything, but they did that predictable thing that you see in many movies.
They have to have a finale on the roof.
So they have to go to the roof like a King Kong kind of... Whoa. King Kong. So kind of element to it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't as a big a fan of them.
No,
and I agree. If they had stopped at something after the lawnmower scene, like you were saying, I think that would have been a much better ending.
Because they tried to incorporate like the medallion as well as like that's what he uses to punch his way out of his. Oh, what? She says something really creepy to him as like he's going into her stomach. It's sort of like
you'll always be a part of his mother or something along those lines.
Something really
That's
creepy.
Right.
And I like that so Lionel's way and Paquita's hanging off a building.
Screaming.
Yeah, screaming. But yet the mother just comes over with her little finger and she's just sort of like
teasing her.
No, you're not going in. And just tries to like bat her arms away.
It's like she's like torturing her in a sense as well.
Teasing
right
her.
till the very end.
Yeah.
You also like Lionel's horrible delivery of "Don't you touch her!
Don't you touch her!"
Oh, I think like he did. I imagine that he did like a really powerful scream, and Peter Jackson was like, "No. This is not a movie for good acting. I want you to ham it up,
Dial it back a bit, son."
Yeah, dial back the good. Give me the smarm.
Yes,
that's what he was after.
But how he was delivered back out of her.
She explodes. Why?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why does she explode?
Why does her face melt and she looks like a ravenous dog? Oh wait, no, the rat monkey. She's the rat monkey. Of course, yes.
Because she was the only one that was bitten by it. But
pay attention, Des.
Why do we know why she exploded? No. And it was an odd explosion, and it was almost like he was being birthed again. So he's not subservient anymore. He'll do what he wants. He'll be independent until Paquita tells him to go and get the washing done. Okay, Paquita.
Well, with Mother gone, that's the end of the showdown between the undead and the living. So Paquita and Lionel, they awkwardly kiss. They do a kind of Shawn Michaels Riptide down at the bottom of the house.
Incredible. I do love that scene where they're awkwardly kissing, but yet he is holding the medallion up all the way through that. until they kiss, then he looks at the medallion and he goes to throw it and she stops him, to which he responds with the world's worst no, where he shakes his head in the most stupidly comical fashion and just gently throws the medallion because he knows he's got another 3 takes to 2 of this and he's not going to throw too far.
You don't want to walk too far to collect it back.
He had that medallion for about a good 70 minutes of that film.
Yeah.
And he's alive at the end and he still throws it away willy-nilly.
Yeah.
Surely if you were him, you would have just kept that in the, anyway, you know, like as a wee sort of like...
memento.
No. Something that's going to save your bacon at some point.
Oh, you mean for Brain Dead 2, Electric Boogaloo?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Well, you do know the baby survived.
Or burns to death. It's not exactly shown. It's definitely on the wreckage.
Yeah, it's definitely in the wreckage. Do you think... I know the movie's over now, but I just want to imagine... So the house is burning, and the fire brigade's out there. They're putting out the house. Surely they would discover the 40 or 50 corpses in the household. You know, I don't think Lionel's going to get too far before the police come.
Multiple murder call that we got in earlier today?
Yeah.
Maybe this is it.
He stood right outside. They'll know who he is because he's been acting odd around town.
Yeah.
And he's standing outside just having a wee weird snog where it looks like he's kind of having a fit at the same time. And then they just like... nonchalantly, that word.
Nonchalantly.
Thank you. Walk off into the sunset. Oh, well, not really sunset, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know the
night.
Yeah,
no question.
The credits roll and the music plays, but you do know that the credits weren't there. They would walk away, and then about 2 seconds later, a police officer like, "Oh, mate, I've got a few questions for you." Well, now get your fuck back here. Just come. We've got a load of fucking bodies. We've got a baby here that looks like it's been stepped on by somebody wearing golf shoes. Get your fucking arse back here.
A lot of Irish, Australian police in New Zealand.
So that's our review of 1992's Braindead by Peter Jackson. Des, what did you think of the film?
I think this is a really good movie for anybody that's a big horror fan, that wants to know the history of Peter Jackson, like where he started from, like Sam Raimi with horror roots, or anybody that is really drunk or mentally deranged. Because I have seen this movie once, I enjoyed this movie, I am never going to watch this movie again.
Your first time seeing the film, Paul?
Yeah.
What did you think?
I thought it was really good. I don't think it's like epic, but I do feel it's enough to herald the sort of cult classic following it's obviously got. I do feel had Peter Jackson not made Lord of the Rings, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about it today. That's what seems quite evident of it. But I really like the comical side, I like the sort of horror gore side. From the minute go, I just kind of felt we were in a sort of like Evil Dead homage a wee bit. Not fully, because it had its own take and stuff, but kind of geared towards that as well. But I liked all the extra sort of like weird sort of nonsense that's come with the stuff that we've learned.
Yeah.
Like even like I read that in Sweden, rental copies came with a sick bag.
Nice.
Well, the Swedes planned ahead.
They didn't have, but that's how scared people were off it. Like in American stuff, they cut it right back, 25 minutes off it, no gore.
Actually, in some versions of the movie, the lawnmower scene doesn't exist completely.
What?
So that's why the ending is the mum.
Oh, come on.
So there'll be people potentially listening to this, all 5 of them, right? They'll
Might not have even known that lawnmower scene exists.
Exactly. They'll be watching, they'll be like, lawnmower? Oh, do you mean the bit at the start when it breaks and he gets his screwdriver out?
And they'd be like,
how else would they have explained where all the other bodies went?
Yeah.
It seems to me like the kind of movie I'd like to watch with somebody that's not seen it and has no idea what they're about to see, so that I wouldn't watch the film as much as I was watching their reaction to watching the film.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. It's strange because when it comes to the acting's a 4 out of 10. The story is a 4 out of 10. But pretty much everything's shit.
Yeah.
But it's still a good 7 or 8 out of 10 because it's just so enjoyable to watch.
If it was me, and I was going to recommend a good dark comedy movie directed by Peter Jackson that has a nice balance of character and creepiness, I would recommend The Frighteners. I would not recommend this.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I would definitely recommend it.
I personally wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend The Frighteners over this.
That is actually a good shout. Yeah.
So this was the first ever episode of Not Another Film Podcast. What the hell was that? Not another That was an accident.
Beautiful outro.
So that was the first ever episode of Not Another Film Podcast. We're going to wrap it up right now, but for all those that are still interested, put in a... Get the show out because I can't seem to perform a fucking outro.
You seem to be having difficulty there.
I wrote an intro but not an outro.
Do you want me to do the outro?
Do the outro, Des.
Okay, I'll do the outro. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to the first ever episode of Not Another Movie Podcast. I'd like to especially... Film podcast.
See, you can't do it either, Paul. Your turn.
Oh, fine, okay.